So, guys, am I audible? Good evening, everybody. Let's wait for a couple of minutes and then we'll be seeing about switch statements, okay? Guys, you can respond in chat whether I'm audible or not. Okay, thank you, Prince. So, good evening. Are you people having any doubts in our previous sessions? And today, as I have said, we'll be starting with the unsigned right shift operator. Okay, and I hope Leela is here. So we'll be waiting. We'll wait for a couple of minutes and then we'll be getting started. Good evening, Hema. So guys, have you seen about the unsigned right shift operator? Uh, by the way, we'll be seeing it now. Okay, let's wait for a minute and then we'll be getting started because only few have of you have joined. Okay, let's see about the unsigned right shift operator. So in Java, we'll be uh, giving the unsigned right shift operator as in this symbol. Okay, so we do have only unsigned right shift operator, which is to be dealt with yesterday's operators concept. And now, what is the meaning of this unsigned right shift operator in this sense? Um, Whenever we are shifting a particular number, like into right shift is being done on that particular number, in the left side the empty spaces will be coming, right? So automatically, without even considering, the left spaces will be given only zero. For example, um, let's take the 8421 rule. 8421 in the sense 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2 and 2 power 3. Okay, now let's say, we have something. So we have 15. We want to represent 15 here. So against every numbers, I'll be putting 1. 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 is 15, right? So if I want to do 15 unsigned right shift 2 in the sense, it will be similar to how a shift operator works. Okay, so this one will be going here. So we'll be having this one will come here 1, this one will come here 1, this one will be coming here 1. So here we'll be left with blank space, right? Now we'll be halting that. Okay, so this is the first step. And in the second step, like, again one more shift is being carried out. So one will be going outside, this one will be coming here, this one will be coming here. Okay, so we'll be having two blank spaces which is to be filled. Okay, whenever we are taking the case of right shift operator, okay, there could be chances where even one can be filled as well as zero can be filled. Okay, it depends upon the condition. So whenever we are working with negative numbers, so that time only we'll be seeing the major use of unsigned right shift operator. Okay, so here without even thinking, whenever we are using unsigned right shift operator, the value assigned will be 0 here. So this is what is the difference between the unsigned right shift operator as well as the normal shift right operator. Okay, so guys, are you clear with this concept? So this is all about the right shift operator, unsigned right shift operator. Okay, and you could respond in the chat now if you're having any doubts, or you could even acknowledge some kind of messages. Okay, so next thing today we'll be dealing with the switch statements. Yesterday, I hope you are clear with the if statements. So where we have seen something like if statement, simple if statement, and if else later, and if else later, and nested if. Okay, so that was quite a very like a basic definition for what do you mean by conditional statements. We do have one more conditional statement in Java. It is nothing but the switch statement. Okay, the switch statement. So a switch statement, like it is something when we'll be using this. If you have that question, under multiple cases only, under multiple condition only, we'll be executing the switch case. Okay. So for example, let's say I'll be giving you an integer, a number. So a week has 7 days, right? So I'll be giving a particular integer number. For example, if I give one as the input, I want to like retrieve the week name, day name. Okay, so if I give 1, you have to give me Monday. If I give 2, it must be Tuesday. 3, it must be Wednesday. Okay, so there are multiple conditions after which I want to monitor it carefully, and then I have to work on a particular block of code. So in that situation, we'll be like using if else later. And also switch case is very like optimal in order to use in those kind of thing, and it is quite very similar to if else if later. Okay, we can also whenever we are taking a use case, if you are using switch case, in the sense we can do the same logic, or we can do the same operation with the help of if else if block also. Okay, so I'll be giving you a simple example of how to use the switch statement. And before that, so yeah, this is how the structure. Okay, this is how the structure of a simple switch statement. So we'll be getting an expression. Okay, so first of all, we'll be having an expression, or we'll also be having, in some cases, we'll be getting the input from the user, and depending on that value which the user has been given as input, we'll be framing the conditions. Okay, so here what we are having is, we are having a particular expression. Okay, after which we are having multiple cases. So case 1. Okay, so if this case is, yeah, so we are having case 1, right? So if this case is being met. Okay, for example, if the user has given for example 1 as the input, and if I'm here, I'm giving case as 1. So this and this is getting matched, right? So it's getting matched. So this block which is present like under the case 1 will be getting executed. And after each case block, you are supposed to give break. Otherwise otherwise many case statements will be getting clubbed, and then it will be getting executed. Good evening, Leela. Then and if the user has inputted 2, okay, my first case will be 1. Let's suppose here it will be 2, here it is 3, and here it is 4. Okay, so if I do if the user has inputted a 3, so it will be checking with 1. 1 is not equal to 2, so obviously this condition is not met. So this block of statements will not be getting executed. Again, it checks with the condition 2. So case 2, 2 is getting matched with 2, right? So that corresponding block of code will be getting executed. Okay, and in a switch case we'll be having a default block. So default block is something quite very similar to else block in an if else if ladder. So let's see a simple example, but I just want to know whether you people have got a basic understanding of what switch cases and how we are going to use, I mean, which areas we'll be using switch cases. Okay, thank you, Leela. Okay, so first thing, we'll be explaining the concept with a basic code. I just want to, print the months in a year. Okay, if I'm giving one as the, if the user is giving one as the input, then the answer must be January or Feb or I mean, if he is giving 2 means the answer must be February. If the input is 3 means I'll be giving March. Okay, so let's print the months of the year. So you have to import the util library, and then we have to create a scanner object because I'm going to get a user input. So I'll be getting the I'll be storing the input value in a variable choice. Okay, and I want you people to work with me parallelly, because if you have any doubts, then and there you can ask. uh I think I'm not sure. Wait, next care. Yeah, we do have Nextcare in Java. Okay, but usually yesterday I have said, right, I'll be using only next.caret 0. Okay, because I haven't explored about a Nextcare function, Nextcare method. Mm, no, there is no Nextcare. Okay, so there is no Nextcare. Only the thing which we have is next.caret 0. Okay, so we don't have any default function like Nextcare, because we have like we have functions like next in, next double, next float, and all those things. But we don't have Nextcare. Okay, okay, Leela. So the thing, how we want to get input, the character input from the user is we are supposed to use next.caret 0. Okay, okay. So enter a number from 1 to 12. Okay, okay. Now I'm going to use switch case. So in switch case, according to this choice only, I'm going to evaluate my conditions, or I'm going to check each and every condition. So in this switch, I want to pass choice only, because according to this choice only, I'm going to make some decisions. Okay, now next, my first case is case 1. Good evening, Shivam. So case 1, if the case is 1, we are just going to print the month is January. Okay, and then we are going to give a break statement. What does this break statement mean is, if the user is giving 1, okay, so this 1 is mapped with the choice 1 which the user has given. So this print statement will be getting executed, and the break, we'll be dealing more about the break statement whenever we are saying control structures. Okay, so don't worry. The break, what it does is, it the pointer will break out from the switch block itself. So after executing this line, breaks means it will come out of the switch block. Okay, so yeah, so if the user is giving case 2, then the same thing, but it will be February. I'll be putting Feb. So repeatedly we want to put the same step. It is something, it is related to if else if block. by having if else if block also you can do the same operation, but the thing is it will be quite optimal because in some cases you might use these things. Good evening, Manasi. So that's it. So we'll be having only 4 months. Okay, so 1 to 4. Uh, and the last case is default case. So default will be printing. So if the user is giving any other number other than 1 2 3 4, though, so this default case is going to be executed, and the message is the month is somewhere from May to December. Okay, and we are going to give break statement. Okay, so this is how a switch case will be. So let me run the program. So if I'm giving 1, then January is getting printed. Okay, so you people are able to follow how this function works, right? How this code works. So if I'm giving 4, if I'm giving 4, the it will be the choice it will be taken into the switched block, and it will be checked with these things. Okay, so here 4 and 4 is getting mapped, so April is being printed, and as we are giving here break statement, the block, the pointer comes out from the switch block. So I'm giving above 4, it's getting the month is from May to December, because it is not getting mapped with the above 4 cases. So default case is being executed. So are you people clear with switch case? This is how a switch case works. And as an not an assignment, but if you want to practice more on switch case means you can try out another example where you will be getting the input from the user. You can print the weekdays, and not only here, and the case we are giving what to say, in the case we are giving integer values, right? It is not only restricted to integer value, you can also give an char. Okay, so if you people are clear with the integer thing, I'll be telling you how to apply character data type in a switch case. So are you people clear with this? Guys, do let me know if you're having any doubt in switch case. If you're clear with this, then we'll be seeing another example which involves character. Okay, because we do have many things to cover today. Okay, thank you, Prince. Okay, so this is in the case of integer value. See, I'm going to like take the input a character value, next dot char at 0. Okay, so if my if my input is a, I'm going to print a. Okay, or alphabets, we will see. If it is b, then it's only like j means default case. We are going to print default case. Okay, so yep, so I'm going to run the code. So I'm going to print j. We are getting Java. Okay, so this is the thing. So here I have used character. You can also use any data type here. Okay, so this is how a switch case works. This is quite similar to if else if block. Also, you can do the same functions there also. So next is the control statements. Okay, we have seen about the conditional statements. So conditional statements are something like where the execution of the statements will be done based on a particular condition. So if the condition is true, then a set of statements is what if we take cases as integer by taking char and switch? That don't work. Okay. What if we take cases as integer by taking char and switch? See, because when in the switch case, like you are giving choice as your value on which your conditions must be based on. Okay, so here the character is a, so this a actually it maps with your choice. Okay, so whenever so the variable whichever you are passing inside a switch case must be quite similar to the data type whichever you are specifying in the case. Okay, because here here ASCII values don't work. Okay, so just it is going to map two things. Okay, so we cannot say one is equal to a character value of one, right? Because the digit one is it's not equal to the character value of one. Okay, so one is not equal to one. Okay, so we cannot do that. Actually, you are getting that, right? So here, as you are using choice in switch case, both the like the variables whichever you're using in case and choice must be equal, then only you'll be able to compare two things. You cannot say a value with a data type is similar to a value with another data type. No, it won't work. Okay, let's see what happens. It converts into ASCII value and then it checks, but I don't think there is no meaning of, using switch cases here, because whenever I'm giving 3, the value must be cat, right? I mean, so it won't, like we are taking the input from a character value and we are comparing it with an integer value. So the thing here is, the both thing won't be same. Whenever we are using integer here, the character will be converted into its ASCII value only, but this thing won't work here, because then the use case of using switch statement will not be a correct thing. Okay, okay, Leela. So you will not be yielding a correct result, because you cannot compare, you cannot check the equality of the same value with two different data types. Okay, okay. So control statements. So we know about condition statements. Now control statements, in the sense we are going to control the execution of something. For example, as I have said yesterday, so I want to print Java 100 times. Okay, what we used to do when we are having a simple, with the help of a very simple print statement, we'll be printing Java, but we cannot repeat the same print statement for 100 times, right? So control statements are something like, if we want to do a particular task in an iterative manner, which means again and again and again, if I want to repeat a particular task, I think it take as ASCII, so that's why yeah, that's fine, Leela. Like, I'm happy that your questions are holds a very great value. It takes an ASCII value, and the character is being converted into its ASCII value. Okay, but we can do that. There will be no error which will be prompted to us. But the thing is, it will not be telling the meaning of why we are using switch case. Some questions, if you're coming across some questions where, like debugging kind of thing is there. Okay, so during the interviews and all, you'll be getting these kind of code snippets where you'll be asked to find whether this code runs into an error or not, or what is the output that this code yields. So in that cases, in that cases they could give you code snippet like this, and okay, and they could ask you what will be the output. So usually we think it will run into error, right? But the character whichever we are giving here, it is being converted to its ASCII value, and that ASCII value will be getting checked here. Okay, uh, but whenever you are using in a real time basis, this won't give the correct result, because the equality of two different data types will not be the same. Okay. um, okay, Leela. Okay. So yeah, control statements. So whenever you're going to do a particular task in iterative fashion, you'll be going for control statements. Okay. So in Java, we do have three control statements. One is for loop, then while loop, then do while loop. Okay. So for loop. Okay. So for loop, while loop, do while loop, everything, like whenever you want to repeat a particular statement to n number of times or to a specific number of times, we'll be using looping statements there. But this is the general syntax of for loop. So for is the keyword. Okay. So this is the initialization part. So first part, three parts are there whenever you want to define a for loop. So first is the initialization part. Okay. um you are going to initialize a variable. Okay. And next is, yeah, Leela, you can use strings also. uh, Next we are going to test the condition whether this condition is getting satisfied or not, and we are going to update. Okay. So first of all, we are going to give initialize a value to a particular variable. So here they have used the variable as I. Okay. So this is the initialization part where a value is being assigned to a variable. And next thing is the condition test condition part, where each and every time, like whenever updation is being done to that particular variable, the condition is being checked. hmm I mean, can be initialized before starting for loop. um you can initialize, we'll check it out. Okay, you can initialize. Next is the test condition. Next will be the updation. Okay, so each and every time the I value, either it must be incremented or decremented, then only it makes sense. Okay, otherwise the loop runs into an infinite loop. And one more thing, so whenever we are taking the looping structures or control structures, you may ask, so here we'll be having a certain block of code, okay, that will be getting executed. And until this condition holds true only, these statements will be getting executed. Once this test condition returns false, the loop will be break. Okay. Okay. So first of all, I'll be telling you an example, then I'll be telling you how the execution of for loop works. Okay. So here I'm going to print numbers from 1 to 15. Okay. So what I'll be doing is for, so the different parts in the for loop, it will be separated by using semicolon. Okay. I'm going to initialize int I is equal to 1, I is less than 15. Oh, sorry. I is less than 15. One more thing you have to note here. Okay. So if you are giving condition as 1, I is less than 15, only you will be getting the result till 14. I want to print numbers from 1 to 15 inclusive. Okay. So if you are using I is less than or equal to 15, so let's say we'll print numbers from 1 to 5. That's enough. Okay. So this range, okay, so I is less than n could be any number. Actually the loop runs only till n minus 1. So here the loop actually prints from 1 to 4 only. So I'm just going to print the number as I. That's it. So we are getting the output 1 2 3 4. Okay, so I'll be telling you how this works. Okay. Okay, so we'll be having the I value. Okay. And we'll be checking the condition whether I is less than 5. Okay. and then we are going to increment the value of I, and then as we are going to print I here, we'll be having the print block here. Okay. uh, so initially my I value is 1, because here I have given I value is 1, right? So I value is being initialized to 1. Okay, now this condition will be checked, either 1 is less than or equal to 5. Okay, so this condition is true, right? So the block inside this will be getting executed. So the I will be printed here. I value is 1, so 1 will be printed in the print block, so 1 will be printed. Again, I'm going to increment the value of I. So this is quite similar to I, is equal to I plus 2, I plus 1, sorry. You can also you can also increment I by 2, 3, or you can increment I by any number of times. Okay, so I plus plus means it is I is equal to I plus 1 only. We are writing it as I plus plus. Okay, so now 1 plus plus, so the value will be 2 here. Okay, so the value is updated into 2. Okay, now again the pointer comes here and it wants to check. So now I value is 2. So 2 is checked whether 2 is less than 5. Okay, so this is true. So we are going to print I value, right? So, and we are using print ln. Okay, so the pointer comes to next line and I value 2 will be printed. Okay, now again 2 is being incremented. So when we are incrementing 2 by 1, it is 3. Okay, here now I value will be 3. We are going to check whether 3 is less than 5. Yeah, this holds true. So we are going to print 3, and now 3 is incremented to 4. So now the I value is 4, and we are going to check whether 4 is less than or equal to 5. Yeah, that's correct, that's true, right? That condition is true, so 4 will be getting printed. Okay, and next thing is we are going to increment 4. Now I value is updated to 5. So here now I value will be 5. So now it is checked whether 5 is less than 5. No, right? 5 is not less than 5. So this condition is false, so the loop breaks. That's it. So this is going to be our output. So that's why we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I want to print numbers from 1 to 5 inclusive, either I want to change the condition as less than or equal to 5. So then only in the last case what happens is it will be checked whether 5 is less than or equal to 5. If the condition is like this means, okay, yeah, this will be true, so 5 will also be getting printed. Okay, so either if you want to print from 1 to 5 inclusive, either you want to change the condition to this, or you keep the condition but just change the value less than 6. So does this make sense? So people are able to follow what I'm saying. So this is how a simple for loop works, and for loops concept is quite very very important, because these are the things which you'll be using often whenever you are using it in competitive programming part. Okay, thanks Vaibhav. Leela, are you able to follow that? Okay, so now let's check. Int I is equal to 1. So I'm just giving I here. No, it's saying I is not a statement. Wait. Okay, so you can initialize before starting a for loop. Okay, so here this works. Without I only. Yeah, it works. So you are initializing I as 1 before the loop thing, and now you're not going to pass anything in the initialization part because already you have initialized here. Okay, so you're just going to, yeah, it works, it works, it works. So yeah, so you're not going to give anything in the initialization part because you have initialized it here itself. Okay, then you're going to give a condition, and this condition is being checked each and every time whenever I is being incremented. Okay, and this particular block will be getting executed. So people, are you able to follow? Others, kindly, like, put in the chat section if you're having any doubts, because if you are very clear with how a for loop works, it's very, like, it's very easy to uh, know about while loop, do while loop, and everything. Okay, so come on guys, so others, please do respond whether for loops is clear to you or not. Okay, Sneha. Others, is it clear? Okay. Okay, so next thing is, we'll be printing a multiplication table with the help of a for loop. Okay, so I'm going to take the input from the user. So then if the user enters a number, I'm going to store it in num variable. So my for loop will be int I is equal to 0, not 0, 1, because from 1 only we'll be having I is less than or equal to num I plus plus. Mm, hmm. System dot out dot println num star I equal to num star I. So does it make sense? Okay. So with the help of for loop, I'll be able to print a multiplication table. Okay, where now my I value is 1. Okay, so it'll be checking whether 1 is less than or equal to num. Num here is 10. Okay, so it checks whether 1 is less than or equal to 10. It is true, so this condition is executed. So num value is 10 into 1, I value is incremented, is equal to num into I. So, and again I value will be incremented to 2. Okay, so when it's 2, um yeah, so now it will be checking whether 2 is less than or equal to 10. It is correct. So num 10 into 2 is equal to num star I 20. Again, now I value will be incremented to 3, and it checks whether 3 is less than or equal to 10, and this works in the similar pattern. Okay, so people, are you clear with this? So this is a very simple, like, this is a very simple example of printing a multiplication table with the help of a for loop. Okay, you can also do it with while loop and do while loop. So like, so guys, are you able to follow? I mean, are you getting the logic of how to do this? People are, who are quite very beginner in for loop, uh, I hope you are clear on this thing, because who are, who know programming language and who know all this concept, I think it will be a cakewalk for you. Okay, so what about others? Okay, except by above, everybody is understanding how a for loop works. Okay, so next let's move on to, like with the help of for loop, we'll be finding the factorial of a number. Okay, so you people have any idea about what is meant by a factorial of a number? Okay, so factorial of a number in the sense, if my input is 5, then I want to return 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 2 into 1. The answer will be 120. Okay, yeah. Okay. So whenever you're giving 4, I mean 4, then 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 must be a answer. So if I'm going to, print the factorial of a number. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to have a variable int factorial. Okay, where I'll be assigning factor 1 to the factorial variable initially. Okay, so I'm going to iterate the for loop from 1 to n, because if I'm giving uh 5 as the input, in the sense even the 5 must be inclusive in order to find factorial of a number, right? So I want to iterate from 1 to 5 inclusive. So what I'm going to do is, for int I is equal to not 0 1 to um n, I'm going to do factorial equal to factorial star I. Okay, I'll be explaining you how it works. And after the for loop part, I want to print the factorial of this number n is factorial. Okay. Okay. So okay. Okay. So yeah. Now my I value is 1. Okay. Initially my I value is 1. So I'm going this is n. Okay. This is n. So here my n value is 5. Okay. So it is, I am going to check whether, so sorry. Wait. I'm going to check I is less than or equal to n, right? I is less than or equal to n. Okay. So I'm going to check whether 1, here n is 5. So 1 is less than or equal to 5. Okay. So this condition works. So what I'm going to do is, now my factorial, my I'll be representing as f. My factorial will be having 1. Okay, because I have initialized factorial to 1. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do factorial is equal to factorial star I. My I value is 1. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do 1 into 1, and I'm going to store it in fact. So now my fact value will be 1 only. 1 into 1 is 1. Okay. So next, my I value will be getting incremented. Now my I will become 2. So it checks whether 2 is less than or equal to 5. Yeah, it is correct, right? So 2 is less than or equal to 5. So what I'm going to do is factorial is equal to factorial into y. So f is equal to 1 already. So I'll be, let's remember n, the value of n is 5, okay? I'll be having f here. Okay. So my value of f is 1. So what I'm going to do is f is equal to f star I. Okay. So 1 into 2, because f value is 1 in our previous case and here I value is 2. So 1 into 2, the answer is 2. Okay. Again, now I value will be incremented to 3. So it checks whether 3 is less than or equal to 5. This condition is true. So my fact value is already 2 in our previous step. So what I'm going to do is 2 into I value in my current step. I value here is 3. So 2 into 3, it is nothing but it is 6. Okay. So people, does it make sense? So are you able to follow how really the execution part here works? Next I value will be incremented to 4. So now I value is 4, so it is checked whether I is less than or equal to 5. So 4 is less than or equal to 5, the condition is true. So what I'll be doing is 6 into 6 is the f value, 6 into 4, which is 24. 24. Okay, now I value is incremented to 5. So I'll be check now my current I value is 5, and I'll be checking whether 5 is less than or equal to 5. Yeah, 5 is equal to 5, so the condition is true. Now my f value is 24. So 24 into 5, so my answer will be 120. Okay, so f value is 120 here. Okay, so next my I will be incremented to 6. Now the current I value will be 6. It checks if 6 is less than or equal to 5. Okay, which is false. So the loop breaks. Okay, so now the loop breaks. Okay, so the pointer will come outside of the for loop. Now I'm going to print the value which is present at factorial. So in the f, we are having the value 120, so it is getting printed. So this is how a factorial of a number works. So if I'm giving 20, not 20, if I'm giving, so if I'm giving 10, I'm getting a correct result, okay? But when I gave 20, I got a negative number, right? So why is it so? Okay, because the factorial of 20, no, it is somewhere. So I have used my integer data type here, okay? But there is a specific range for, so there is a specific range for in data type, right? So whenever I'm giving the factorial as 20, okay, that value it will be like greater than the range of what an integer variable will be storing. So uh, I'll be changing it into long. Okay, now let's see whether it works or not. Because yeah, it works because long can store a size range more than int. Okay, so guys, are you clear with how a factorial works? Yeah. So come on, guys. So let me know in the chat window whether people are able to follow what I'm saying, because for loop is quite very very important. Okay, because there are many things which you can do with the help of for loop. Okay. So what about others? So other than Nishta, Vaibhav and Leela, so other people, are you able to follow? So this is the place where you'll be able to, know the difference between int and long data type. So first, whenever we gave 20, we got a garbage value. Okay, that is not the correct value. So we'll be calling the incorrect value as some garbage value which is being thrown to us. So because the factorial of 20, okay, the output result, we cannot store that much large number in data type. So that's why we are moving forward to another data type which works similar as int, but it can store a larger range of value. So that is long here. Okay, garbage value means some random values. Okay, yeah, so this is how a for loop works. Okay, yeah, it will automatically generate some value and then it will be throwing you, and there won't be any logic behind that value, how we got that value. Okay, random. Yeah, so next is the while loop. So while loop also works in a similar way to for loop, but the syntax will be quite very different. Okay, so but the thing which is common in all the looping statements is until the condition is met true, only the statements, if the looping part will be getting executed, otherwise it breaks. Okay, so in a while loop, okay, so I'll be taking a number n, okay, and I'm going to print numbers. I mean, if my n value is 3, okay, if my n value is 3, I'm going to print numbers from n to 10. So my values will be from 3 to 10. Okay. Sure, Leela. I'll be after completing a while loop and do while loop. I'll be telling you nested for. I mean, I'll be telling you on the concept of nested for loops, and we'll be working out on some patterns. Okay, don't worry. Uh, I mean, I'll be showing you some kind of star patterns and character patterns. Okay, but there are many patterns which is available, and also I'll be giving you, the reference of where you can find all those patterns. Okay, yeah, so first we'll be seeing while loop and do while, then we'll be seeing the nested for loop parts, because that is quite important whenever you are doing a 2D matrix traversals. Okay, so we'll, and also when you're coming to see into patterns, there are many, I mean, in some placement drives they do ask patterns, okay, in the coding part, so that's also quite very important. So yeah, so here our question is, whenever a user inputs us with a value, okay, we are going to print from that number to n. So my syntax for while will be while condition the block of code. Okay, the block of code will be there, and the increment or decrement part will be carried out. Okay, so now here my input is 10, I mean in n, right? So while n is less than 10, I am going to, while this condition is true, n is less than or equal to 10, I am going to print the n value. I'm going to print the n value. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to increment n by 1. So that's it. So 3. I'm getting input from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I'm giving input as 5, means from 5 to 10 I want to print. Okay. So this is it works in a similar way, to a for loop, but the syntax is different. Okay, while the condition, so here there we'll be doing the initialization part in the first part, right? But initialization have to be done before the while loop. Okay, and this is the condition, and increment or decrement must be done uh, like inside the while block. So while this condition holds true, the this block will be getting executed. Okay, so are you people clear with while loop? because then we'll be seeing about do while and then we'll be seeing about nested for loops. Difference between again. Difference between see both for loop and while loop is going to work in a very similar fashion, okay, but the thing is the syntax is going to be different, okay. While and for, okay, the both works in a similar pattern, but the thing is in for loop you'll be giving in this manner, right? Wait. Yeah, in for loop we'll be first initializing the for loop contains three parts: initialization, test condition, and updation. Right? All the three things will be done in while loop also. While loop is similar to for loop, but the syntax is going to be different. Syntax in the sense the way, however, we are going to write a loop or the way how we are going to handle those loop. Syntax is some kind of syntax is something related to grammar or the grammar structure in English. Okay, so initialization part, this initialization part in while loop is being done before the loop. So before the while loop I'm giving some value for n, right? So this is the initialization part, and next here in for loop we'll be having this test condition. Okay, so we'll be having the condition in here in this range. So while this condition is true, this block is going to work, and in the same way only in for loop also we'll be having until this test condition is true, the block of the statements will be getting executed. Okay, next, the increment or decrement operator is being done here. In for loop also you can initialize. Yeah, see there is no there are more similarities between for loop and while loop. Okay, and all the loops, common thing is to do a particular task in an iterative manner, that's it. But there is a difference only when you are taking do while loop. Okay, all the three loops work in a similar pattern, but do while loop will be having some difference. Whenever you are seeing for loop and while loop, they are having more similarities only. Okay. Mm. And the n plus plus. Okay, so while this condition is true, this block will be getting executed. So do you people want me to tell me the execution part, how a while loop runs, or are you able to follow? Because it is quite very similar to for loop. We can go to do while loop and then we'll be seeing more nested loops patterns. So do you want me to explain how the execution of a while loop take place, because it's quite similar to for loop? But usage of for loop and while loop, uh, whenever you know, until a fixed number of times only your iterations is going to be carried out, you can use for loop. But in other sense you can use while loop, and both works in a similar manner only. So people who are comfortable with while loop can go for it, and people who are comfortable with for loop, you can go for it. Okay. Okay, so next we'll be seeing the do while loop. A do while loop has a very slight difference whenever we are seeing about while loop. Okay, so in do while loop, the syntax will be do. Okay, some part here block of statements will be there. Okay, and here in while condition, while you'll be giving some condition. Here you'll be giving some condition. So why I'm saying do while loop is has a slight difference in the sense. So here the first part is do, right? Then only it is going to check the condition. Okay. So whether your condition is true or false, the first block will be getting executed at least once. So in the case of while false, system.out.println 20. So if this is going to be your code, okay, no output will be getting printed, because while true only you'll be having 20. Okay. While false, println 20. Whenever you're giving false inside while loop, it won't I mean if while loop is true only, the pointer goes into your block in order to execute. Initially, if the condition is false, then the loop breaks. That's it. But whenever you're giving true here, the 20 will be printed infinite number of terms. Okay, so it is telling unreachable code. Okay, but see here, I'm giving true means infinite times it will be getting executed. Oh, okay. One second, wait. I'll be commenting it out and then. So it's going infinite number of terms because while true I have given, but I haven't given any condition on where to stop. Okay, so it is going infinite times. But whenever I'm giving false, there is no code to execute because here nothing. When the pointer encounters false, it never goes into the while block. So it is telling. And while true, okay, hello, okay, okay. So that's a good question. So whenever you're giving while true system.out.println inside the while block, okay, this hi Kirtana ma'am will be an unreachable code because wait. So what I'm trying to say is, see, whenever I'm giving true here, okay, and here I'll be giving hello, hello. Okay, and outside this while block, if I'm giving, okay, if I'm giving like this code will be an unreachable code. Okay, because whenever you're giving the statements after a while loop or for loop, okay, the thing what happens is only when this loop breaks, the pointer comes and checks for another statements, okay, which is given in the main program. Okay, so yeah. Because here as it goes infinite number of times and there is no breakage for this, the pointer will never come and see this println statement which is given here. So only hello will be printed infinite number of terms. Yeah, it's telling unreachable code. Okay. Okay. Is it fine, Leela? False means nothing here. Say out, put first, and check next. What does that mean? While true, this is what you have given, right? No error occur. I mean, error occurs because I mean, whenever you're putting, normally, whenever you're trying to run, error won't occur because in this while condition, like this hello will be getting printed infinite number of times, okay? Uh, but here, as this line is unreachable, it is telling, this compiler is telling. But if I'm changing the compiler and if I'm running it, there could be chances like I won't be, like prompted with unreachable statement error. So this hello will be getting printed. And I just want to know what do you mean by that statement? Say output first and check next. I think it doesn't carry any. It doesn't mean anything. Like it doesn't make sense. Okay. So yeah. Next thing, whenever we are coming to see about. Okay. Okay. So whenever we are dealing with do while loop. Okay. So whenever we are dealing with a do while loop, first this the block of statement which is present inside the do block will be executed at least once. Okay. Whenever we are taking the condition in previous things like for loop and while loop, if the condition is wrong, that means nothing will be getting executed, right? But in the do while block, like first of all, whatever input you are giving, whatever block of statements you are giving in this uh, do do part, it will be getting executed, and then only the condition is being checked. For example, see, I'm going to do the same thing. I want to print from yarn to 10. Okay, so I'm going to print system.out.println yarn, and I'm going to increment yarn plus plus, and here yarn is less than or equal to 10. Okay. Okay, so the same thing I have done in while loop and do while loop. Okay, so here I'm giving the input as 4. From 4 till end, the numbers are getting printed. Okay. Okay, so in this example, you could say there is no main difference between do while and while loop because both works in a similar way only, right? But let's see. Okay, I'm changing the condition here from n is less than 10. Okay, so if n is less than 10, only this block of statement will be executed, right? So in this example, I'll be giving 10. 10 is being printed for us. Okay, so I'm giving 10, 10 is getting printed. Okay, but according to our situation or our case, 10 must not be printed, right? Because 10 is not less than 10, right? Because here what happens is first the cursor come to the do part, and first the 10 will be getting printed. Okay, and then only the first condition is being checked. That's why what I said was in do while loop, at least once the block which is present in the do part will be getting executed. Okay, so I mean, this is in the case of while loop, do while loop. The same thing I'm doing it in while loop. While n is less than 10, system.out.println n and n plus plus. Okay, now I'm giving 10. Let's see, let's check the difference. Nothing will be getting printed. Okay, because while loop checks first the condition 10 is less than 10 false, so nothing will be getting printed. Okay. um okay, so are you people able to understand uh the difference between while and do while? So all the three statements, for loop, while loop, and do while loop, all the three things, it does the same thing in an iterative manner. Okay, but the thing is do while has a difference whenever it is compared with for and while. Okay, so at least once the this block of statements will be getting executed, and then only from the next iteration only the condition will be getting checked. So this is all about the control structures which we do have in Java. Okay, so after seeing the break statements, we'll be jump statements. Okay, we'll be seeing about the nested for loop. Okay, so guys, are you clear with the control structures part? So guys, I want you people to respond. Like if you're having any doubts, do let me know so that we'll work it out. Okay, and today we are having a lot more things to see. Okay. So if you people are clear with control structures, then we'll be moving on to the jump statements, because in Java we do have two jump statements, break and continue. They are quite very simple, but you have to know the usage of break and continue statements, because you may use it sometimes. So Vaibhav, is it clear? Or if you people have any doubts of how a do while works, I'll be telling you the execution part also. Okay. So in jump statements, like we do have two things, as I've already said, break and continue. Okay, break statements we have already seen it in switch case, right? So whenever we are giving break, it means the pointer, it breaks out from that particular block, and the pointer gets out from that particular block. Either it can be a for loop, or it can be a while loop, do while, anything. Okay, in switch case we have used break already. After that case, that print statement is being executed. Whenever we are giving break, the control comes out of the switch block, right? Yeah. Next, continue statement. I'll be showing the difference between break as well as continue statements. Can we take two inputs in a for loop, and can we check two conditions? Yeah, you can check two conditions also. So you can keep two variables I comma j, okay, and in a single for loop itself you can initialize two variables in the initialization part, and in the conditions part also you can have two variables, and you can also increment two variables simultaneously. Okay, parallelly you can check all those things. So it's not only restricted to using two inputs, you can also test it for n inputs. Okay, so yeah, whenever you're using control statement, after giving the control keyword, okay, the thing which is present after the control keyword will be skipped. Okay, so break means the control comes out of that block. Control mean continue means whenever you're giving continue, and then if you're having a block of code also, that won't be getting executed, that will be skipped, and again the pointer goes to the for loop in order to check the particular condition. So I'll be giving you a simple example. Okay. Mm, okay, so I'm using for loop for this. For int I is equal to 0 to I is less than n I plus plus. Okay, if I'm sorry. Okay, so if I'm encountering 5, then I want to break. Okay, if I is equal to 5, then I'll be breaking the for loop. Okay, mm, otherwise I'll print. So here what I'm doing, I'm going to give a number. Okay, uh n, so I just want to print from 0 to that n. So but I'm giving a condition here, if I is 5, then I'll be breaking. Whenever I'm giving break, see what happens, the control comes out of for loop. Okay, so if I'm giving 10, okay, now it prints from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now when the variable is incremented, when the I value is 5, it checks whether I is equal to 5. It is true, so it breaks. So then like it comes out of the for loop. Okay, okay, so here I'm giving continue. Let's see what happens. 5 will be skipped. After 4, 6 will be printed. Why? Because as I already said, whenever we are giving continue, the block after that will be skipped. Okay, so when I is incremented, when I is updated to 5, it will be checking whether I is equal to 5, means I'll be giving continue here. So after this I have this block, right? It won't be getting executed, it will be getting skipped, and again the pointer goes to for loop. Now the I will be incremented by 1, so now the I value will be 6. Okay, and again it checks whether 6 is equal to 5, obviously no. Then this block will be getting executed. So this is the jump statement which is available in Java. Jump statement in the sense, uh, we are going to in break, we are breaking the entire for loop, and then like whenever we are using continue, it is getting skipped, right? So this is the difference between break and continue statements in Java. So are you people clear with the jump statements in Java? uh, Guys, do you have any questions on the jump statements in Java? If you don't have any questions, then we'll be seeing the nested for loop concepts. Why is the class boring, or is the concept very tough in order to understand, or what's the problem, guys? For within for, yeah, for within for only, we'll be calling it as nested for loops. Okay, so if you people are clear with this, we'll be moving on to nested for loop. What about Sneha, Hemalata? So are you people clear with this? Then Prince. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay. So now we'll be seeing the nested for loops concept. Okay. Um. hmm. So okay. So my problem statement is, whenever the user is giving input as 5, I want to print a star pattern which have 5 rows and 5 columns. Okay. Okay, Prince. So this is going to be my problem statement. Okay, so whenever the user is giving me 5 as the input, I want to print a star pattern that contains 5 rows and 5 columns. Okay, and another thing, like if the user is giving 3 as input, then I have to have a star pattern with 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay, so this is my problem statement, and so it is not like I am going to give the default value 5. It can be any number the user gives. Okay, so because of which we'll be using for loop, nested for loops. Okay, so whenever you're using nested for loops, okay, here yeah, so whenever you're using nested for loops, the first for loop, the outer for loop, it corresponds to the number of rows. Okay, and the inner for loop, it corresponds to the number of columns. Okay, so first of all, I'll be done with the coding part, then I'll be explaining you how the execution works. Okay, so for Okay, so uh, that's it. This is my thing. I'm done with the thing, because if the user is giving any number, the star pattern will be printed. Let's check. Okay. Okay, for 5, the star pattern is getting printed, and if I'm giving 3, pattern is getting printed. Okay, now I'll be telling you how actually the execution of nested for loop works. Okay, this is what you call for inside for or for within for. Okay, so this loop it is called as outer loop, and this loop is known as inner loop. Okay, so this loop actually it corresponds to number of rows. I think it makes sense, because number of rows means this is a row. This is first row. I mean, like in this kind of nested for loops will also help you in order to do a matrix traversals. Okay, so this is row 0, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. Okay, and this is the column 1, column 2, column 3, and it goes like that. Okay, so this outer for loop it corresponds to the number of rows, which means you're going to say how many times or how many rows you need in your output. Okay, and this is number of columns, it corresponds to number of columns. Okay, so this is the inner loop. I'll be telling you the execution. Okay, you understood, Bible? Okay, but still others know. I'll be telling you the execution part how it works. Okay, and then it will be clear for them. No, I is less than n. So here n is 3. Okay, let's have n as 3. I is less than 3. This is the ith part, and then it comes j. Okay, j is less than n. J is less than 3. Okay, and we'll have the output screen. Okay, um so now my I value is 0 initially, right? So if my n value is 3 and my I value is 0 initially, so my I value is 0. So it checks whether 0 is less than 3. Obviously 0 is less than 3, right? 0 is less than 3, it is correct. Now it goes to the inner loop part. Okay, to the j loop. Here j value will be 0. 0. Okay, so it checks whether 0 is less than 3. It's correct, right? It's correct. So this block will be getting executed. So print star will be printed. Okay, again, now j value will be incremented. J plus plus. Okay, now j value will be 0 plus plus, so 1. So now j's current value is 1. So 1 is less than 3, right? 1 is less than 3. Again, the star will be getting printed. So as we have given a space after star, like this space is, we are getting this space. Okay, next, again, now this j will be incremented. So 1 plus plus. Now it will be changing into 2. So 2 is less than 3. The condition is true. So third star will be getting printed. Okay. Now 2 will be getting incremented. 2 will be incremented to 3. 3 is less than 3. No, the condition is false. So the loop breaks. Okay. So the loop breaks. So that's it. Now the loop breaks. This first inner for loop is done. Okay, now I have given a system.out.println. So the pointer comes to next line. Okay, next line. You people are able to understand, right? So the pointer will be here now. Again now, I value is 0, but here next in after this step I value will be incremented. So I value will be 1. So this is the first iteration. Now I value will be 1. So it checks whether I is less than or equal to 3. It is correct. So now j value goes from 0 to n, right? So now my j value will be 0. So same, 0 is less than 3. Correct. So star is getting printed. Next, j will be incremented. J will be incremented to 1. So 1 is less than 3. So again, star will be getting printed. Again, j will be incremented. So now the current value of j is 2. 2 is less than 3 again. So again, it is printed. Now, j value will be 3. 3 is less than 3 is false. So pointer comes to next line. Okay. Now, in my next step, after this j part is over, okay, I will be incremented to 2. And when I write here, 2 is less than 3, right? So this condition is true. So again, these things, these inner loop of j will be getting executed. So 3 times the star will be printed. Now 2 will be incremented to 3. Okay. 3 is less than 3, it is false. So the loop breaks. So does it make sense? So the loop breaks, and again, this is printed. This output is being printed. So guys, are you able to follow how nested for loops work? Okay, Anshu. What about others? So people are able to follow how a for loop works, because this is called as the outer for loop, and it corresponds to the number of rows, and this is the inner for loop, it corresponds to the number of columns. Okay, so diamond shape, I think you can work it on your own. uh I'll be next showing you a triangle shape. Okay, if I'm giving 4, then my output will be okay. If I'm giving 4, then your output must be in a kind of triangle pattern. Okay. um so guys, this is in order to let you people know how actually, the for loop, the nested loops in java works. So I'll be giving a basic understanding of the nested loops, after which you can practice it on your own. Okay, because we do have many concepts to be dealt with, because we haven't seen concepts like arrays and strings and all those things. We do have oops concepts. So as I have only one session tomorrow, I won't be able to complete everything tomorrow. So fatafat, I'll be completing this example, and we'll be seeing about method, how to write different methods and method declaration. And I want to complete till Java arrays today. So then only tomorrow we'll be seeing about strings, and then we'll be seeing the oops concepts, because oops concepts are quite very very important in Java. Okay, as the sessions are Java, this is something beyond the session, because this is the thing which we'll be asking in competitive programming thing. Okay, this is how our basic nested loop works. So apart from this, if you want any questions in order to solve, you can try it on your own. And if you are having any doubts, if you're facing any doubts, you can let me know tomorrow. Okay, so here if I want to print this thing, this pattern, a triangle pattern. Okay, so my outer for loop. Okay, outer for loop here, 4 times my loop want to run, right? 4 times my rows must be counted. Okay, so here I'll be giving I is equal to 0 to n. Okay, notice in my first step, okay, I want to check whether only one time the star is printed and the next time only two times it is being printed. So I'll be giving from 0 to I. Okay, equal to I. I think it will work. Right. Yeah. Okay. So I'll be telling you how this works because then we want to see more concepts. Okay. So first of all, I I is less than n. I is less than, yeah, n. Then j value. Then j must be less than or equal to I. Then j plus plus. Then the block of statement. Okay. So So initially my I value will be 0. Okay. So here my n value is 4, right? I'll be giving 3. Wait. My n value is 3. So I is less than or less than 3. So 0 is less than 3 is true. Now my j value will be 0. Okay. So 0 is less than or equal to 0. No? So as this is true, this block will be getting executed. So star will be printed. Okay. Now my j value will be incremented to 1. So current j value is 1. I am going to check whether 1 is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Obviously no. So the control breaks. Okay. So the inner loop breaks and again it goes to the outer loop. Now here after this statement I value will be incremented. So I value will be incremented to 1. So now currently my I value will be 1. So 1 is less than 3. Okay. So my control moves from 0 to I, right? So 0. 0 is less than 0. No. 0 is less than or equal to 1. It is true. So again a star will be printed. And guys, after after this step, after the inner for loop breaks, I'm giving a print ln statement. So my control will come to next line. Okay. So 0 is less than or equal to 1. Yeah, it is true. So it is being printed. And I'm going to increment the value of j. Now j becomes 1. So 1. 1 is less than or equal to 1. Okay. It is true. So again, one more star is being printed. And now j value will be incremented to 2. So 2 is less than or equal to 1. It is false. So the loop breaks. And again, the pointer will come to the next line. Okay. Similarly, now I will be incremented to 2. 2 is less than 3. Okay. So my j loop works from 0, 1, 2. It will be true for these cases because 0 is less than or equal to 2, 1 is less than or equal to 2, 2 is less than or equal to 2. So 3 stars will be printed. So when my j becomes 3, 3 is less than or equal to 2. It is false. So my control breaks. So control breaks and now I will become 3. But as 3 is less than 3 is false. So again my outer loop also breaks. So this is going to be my answer. Okay. So yeah, this is all about the triangle pattern. So Are you people clear with this? Just let me know in the chat window because we want to very fast. Okay, so are you people able to follow? This is how nested loops works. Okay. Okay. So the next thing is the methods declaration. So as I've already said, method in Java means something. It is not something. It is related to functions in Python and various languages. Okay. So in previous session itself, we have seen how to declare a method. So this is the access specifier. Okay, we do have four type of access specifier in Java. One is public, private, protected, and default. And this int is going to be the return type of the function, the return type of the method. What will the method return for us? Okay, and here sum, it is nothing but it is the method name, and this is the parameter which we are going to pass. Okay, so this is how a method is being declared. So we'll be seeing how a method is declared, and then we'll be working on methods. Okay. Hmm. So simply, okay, I'm going to take input of two numbers in order to perform a simple addition. Okay, with the help of methods. Okay, so yeah, int num1 is equal to sc dot nextInt, and int num2 is equal to sc dot nextInt. Okay, now I'm going to write a method. uh okay, so public int, my method, I mean public is the access specifier. Okay, int is the return type of the function, and my function name, method name, will be addition. I'm going to pass two parameters. Okay, parameters in the sense the values which we are going to pass into the method. So I want to pass, I mean in the main method only I'm getting the input, input of two numbers from the user, and I'm going to store it in num1 and num2. So I'm going to pass these two variables num1 and num2 into addition function, right? So as it is going to be two numbers of int data type, so I'm going to put int a and int b. It is not required that your values whichever you're passing here and here must carry same variable name. It can have different name, but here I'm using a and b, but try to be more specific whenever you are using variables. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to return. Okay, so I'm going to add these two numbers a plus b, and I'm going to return the sum. So as the return type of this function is int, obviously I want to return something which carries int data type. Okay, now I'm going to pass it to a function. So as it is returning an integer value, I'm going to assign it to an integer result variable only. So int result, the function call is being made. Okay, and I'm going to pass these two numbers, num1 and num2, and I'm going to print the result. So here I'm not doing anything in my, I'm not performing the addition operation in my main method. Just I'm creating a method for that in order to perform the addition. Okay. Oh, public static, sorry. So the result is 7. 4 plus 3, 7. Okay. Um, yeah. This is how we'll be writing method in Java. Okay, so here I'm getting the input in the main method, and I'm going to pass it to a function named addition, where in the addition the return type of the function will be int. Okay, so as it is an int, as it is going to return some integer value, I want to store that integer value in something in some variable, right? So I'm using result. Okay, and then I'll be printing the result variable. So uh, this is one type of, like adding two numbers, okay, with the help of a function which returns int. So I can directly use void function, public static void, okay, and I just want to print system. I just want to print the result in that function itself, okay, a plus b or sum. Okay. Now I am taking two inputs from the user. Here, this makes no sense because as it is going to be a void function, it returns nothing. And in that function itself, I'm going to print the addition value itself. Okay. So just it's fine if I'm calling that function. So I'm making a function called addition of num1 and num2. Okay. So how this function works is, it takes input and now the pointer will come here. Addition, it is a function where two parameters of num1 and num2 are being passed. So it checks if there is any method. If there is any method named addition, yeah, it is being checked here. And these two parameters are being passed, where a takes the value of num1 and b takes the value of num2. Okay, and they are summed up and they are going to be printed. That's it. Okay, so guys, this is all about method. And obviously, I mean, in Java there are some things which you'll be using again and again whenever you're doing coding or computer programming things. So methods are quite very important whenever you're dealing with DSA or CP, competitive programming. So this is how we'll be declaring a method and how we'll be manipulating a method. So are you people clear with the method declaration part? So if your people clear with the method declaration part, then we'll be moving into arrays. So I'll be telling you how to take the input of an array, how to print an array by using for loop. We do have for each loop also. Okay, so how to find the length of an array and how to access the elements of an array. So usually I hope you remember we are going to we are going to traverse, or we are going to access the elements in an array or a string only with the help of indexing. Okay, so the same indexing concept only we'll be using in Java arrays also. So people, are you clear with the method declaration part? And if you have any doubts, you can ask me, because this is very important. So I want everybody to acknowledge very whether you are clear with this or not. Clear. Okay. What about others? Vaibhav and Banu, Hema, Prince. So guys, do acknowledge whether you're clear with the methods declaration part or not, so that I can we'll be seeing more on the arrays thing. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, so okay, thank you guys. What is the use of method in the sense, like for example, you for example, let's say you're writing a real time project, okay, so where you do have various functionalities and features which is to be dealt with your software. So it doesn't make any sense, right? So if I'm going to make the product of two numbers, uh, I mean, if I'm going to have various features, it doesn't make any sense of writing all those things in the main method. Okay, so what I'll be doing is I'll be writing each and every functionality as a particular method. So whenever I want to use that functionality, I can call them in my main method. Okay, so that is basically what is the use of functions. So if you are very clear about functions, you know the use of functions. Like functions are actually used in order to maintain our code in a very clear manner. Okay, for example, we are working in a project. Okay, thanks, Hema. So we are working in a project, okay, where several people are working on a particular project. So that people, like they are getting moved into another project. Another set of people are coming and doing the project, this project. So code reusability, yeah, it is important for code reusability. And also, see, if you want to, if we can, I mean, if you're using a calculator, if you're going to implement a calculator project, means it doesn't like it is not sure whether you want to use addition, subtraction, multiplication, everything in your main code. If you want, that time you can use. So because of which you're going to separate all those things in a particular method. Okay, so if you want that particular functionality to be done in your main method, you can just call them. That's it. So whenever we are seeing arrays in Java, arrays means, as we have already seen, it is a collection of elements of same data type. Okay, so we do have a integer array, string array, okay, float array, double array, so character array. Okay, we do have several types of arrays. Arrays, in the sense, we are going to store the elements. It's a storage place for elements of same data type. Okay, and yeah, we do have 1D and 2D arrays in Java. And 2D arrays, it will be only manipulated with the help of I mean nested for loops. Okay, so it is going to be a storage space for elements of similar data type. Okay. And also the elements of the array will be stored in a contiguous memory. Okay, so first of all, whenever you are taking an array, there are some things which you want to know. So let's say array will be like this only. No? Now let me store 5 values in my array. Okay, 6 values. Okay, so I'm going to store 6 values. So this array is going to be an integer array. Okay, because of which I'll be storing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not like you can also store 7 or any numbers. Okay, inside an array. So indexing is being given in an array. Okay, so only the elements in an array can be accessed only with the help of indexing. So the index starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and as it has been said that the elements of an array is stored in contiguous memory location. For example, in the heap area, if the first element is being stored in the address pointer 1000, means an array is a linear data structure because the elements are stored in a sequential manner. Okay, now my next element is 2, so my address will be 1004, and my third element will be having the address 1008, and it goes in a very sequential manner. Okay, 1012. Okay, it goes in a sequential manner. So the thing which you want to know is the elements in an array can be accessed only with the help of indexing, and this is called as indexing. Okay, now here my length of the array is 6 because I can store up to 6 elements in my array, but the index of this 6 will be from 0 to 5 only. Okay, as the indexing starts from 0, it will be from 0 to 5. So which can be concluded as, if my length of the array is n, the indexing will be from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, so I think it makes sense. Okay, yeah. So we'll be seeing there are various methods of initializing array in Java. Okay, so we can also pass an array into a method. Okay, initialization of array. Okay, now I'm going to first of all I want to declare an array. Then after that only I'll be initializing it. Okay, so for declaring, I'll be telling int array name, and as it is a 1D array, you are supposed to use square brackets here is equal to new. New is the like keyword because you're going to create an array. Int, you're going to specify the size of the array, so I'm going to give the array size is 4. Okay, so so I have given my array size as 4. Now I want to initialize, or I want to assign some values to all the I mean to all the spaces in the array. Okay, so whenever I'm doing this, only this will be done. An array, okay, whose size is 4 will be getting declared. Okay, but I want to assign things like in array of 0 the value must be 10, or in array of 1, in one index the value must be 36. No, so because of which we'll be using this technique. So arr of 0 is equal to 10, arr 1 is equal to 24, 2 is equal to, can give any values, 3 is equal to 36. Okay, so I have initialized the value, so here it will be 10, um it will be 23. According to that example, it will be 23, it will be 34, and it will be 36. Okay, it will be initialized. Okay, so the value will be these things. So when I want to print the values of the array, I just want to traverse. Okay, for which I'll be using for loop. For int I is equal to 0 and I is less than up to my array length I want to traverse. So I'm having a default function dot length which gives me the array length, the length of the array. Okay, I just want to print system dot out dot println element at index 1 is array of I. uh, we can create array in 3 ways. Okay, so here I think it makes sense. So element at index 0 is 10, element at index 1 is 23, element at index 2 is 34, and element at index 3 is 36. So this is one way of initializing array. Okay, okay. So are the people clear with this step? This way of initializing? You guys, are you clear with this? I just asked whether you're clear with this. So guys, are you clear with this? This is one way of initializing an array, and another method is just like that you can give, I mean, int array of 4 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, or I'll be giving the same elements 10, 23, 34, and 36. Size is not required. So this is one more way of initializing array. So just you are going to say int array square bracket, as it is in data structure where we are going to store the elements. Okay, we are just going to give square brackets, and in the curly braces we are just going to specify the elements. Okay, so when you ask me what is the difference between this way of initializing and this, here I want to specify, I want to specify the size at first itself. Okay, at first itself I want to give that I'm going to store elements of I mean 4, which means my size of the array is 4, so I'm going to store 4 elements will must be declared whenever I'm using the first step. Okay, but whenever I'm going with the second thing, there is no need of initializing the size prior itself, so I can add as many numbers I want. It is going to be getting stored in my array. Okay, so this is the difference between yeah, so this is the example of declaring an array without giving any size. So in this example we are not giving any size. Okay, and we are getting the output. Okay, and next thing, here my array has 7 elements where index range will be from 0 to 6, right? Without initialization, um I think you can give. But you have to initialize the array, otherwise there won't be any values inside the array. Oh, no. Mm, no, I think we cannot declare in that way. Okay, so you can use either way of declaring arrays, either like this or like that. Okay, and whenever yeah, so I'm having 6 some elements here from index 0 to 6. Okay, I know there is no element at index 7, because in the index itself, in the array itself I have only 7 elements. If I want to retrieve the element which is at index 9 means, okay, a system dot out dot println arr 9, it will be giving array index out of bound error. Yeah, array index out of bound exception is being thrown to us because we do have only 7 elements in our array, but whenever we are trying to retrieve the element at ninth index, there won't exist any element, right? So we'll be thrown out of an error. Okay, so uh, yeah, see, if you are not aware of, but whenever you are declaring, whenever you want to take the input from the user and you don't want to let them know the size, I think it won't work. You have to go for another data structure called array list. Okay, that will be in the collections class in Java. But whenever you are getting the array, elements from the user have to specify how many elements they are going to store in an array, and then only they'll be able to insert the elements. Because uh, without without declaring the size I want to store the elements means it won't be possible. First of all, I want to tell in an array how many elements I want to store, and then only I want to get input from the user. Okay, because even in competitive programming questions there are many things which is related to arrays. In that also, in our input constraints they'll be giving us the n, which means the size of the array they'll be giving. And yeah, they'll be giving the length of the array, and then only we are supposed to manipulate that array. So one cannot say the size of the array, and he cannot tell these are all going to be the elements. Okay, so yeah guys, so we are done with um, today's thing. Tomorrow we'll be seeing Java strings, and next we'll be moving to introduction to OOPS. Okay. And in introduction to OOPS, we'll be seeing things like what do you mean by inheritance, okay, and what do you mean by polymorphism, like method overloading and method overriding concepts. Okay. So these are all the things which we'll be seeing today. If you people have any doubt, you can let me know in the chat section, or else we can wind up. If you have any questions, you can ask me, or else we can wind up. So, guys, how was today's session? So, are you people able to, like get all the concepts in your head, which means it was where it was clear? I just want to know the feedbacks here. So, do let me know in the chat window. And as we are running out of time, okay, so because I do want to teach you the concepts which are very clear, I mean, which are very important in Java. Okay, so OOPS concept is the base for everything. So tomorrow we'll be dealing with OOPS concept, and that is a quite important thing in order to know. Okay. Yeah, you can skip some index in the for loop. Just like instead of incrementing it I plus plus, just give I is equal to I plus 2 or I is equal to I plus 3. Till which indexes you want to store? No, you cannot skip some indexes and you cannot store another indexes. In the sense, in this way you can do. You're going to create an array, okay, and initially you're going to fill the arrays with 0. Either you can use default function arrays dot fill 0, or manually you can fill I mean iterate through the array and you can fill it with 0. Okay. And then if you want yeah, if you want to store the elements in another indexes instead of continuous, then you can apply. Okay. Excited for tomorrow's session, ma'am, and today's class was very interesting. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Hema. That was, that made my day. Session was good, ma'am. Thank you, Sneha. So, yep, guys. So, yeah, this is all about in today's session. Tomorrow we'll be dealing more on Java strings and OOPS concepts. So, have a nice day. Thank you.